this is going to be, I think, a different call. This is Ricardo, who's calling in from Italy. I don't think we've had a call from Italy either. Ricardo, you've been waiting on the line for a while now. Thanks so much for your patience on that. How are you doing, Ricardo? You are live on Truth Wanted.
Oh, thank you. So, hi, Dan. Hi, Jason. So, first of all, I want to say that I'm really sorry for what's going on in your country.
Thank you.
That's mind-blowing. But that is that may be part of what I want to talk about with you about. So I basically have a problem. Each time that I have a conversation with a religious person and going to a Catholic school, that may happen quite a lot. And it might get a little difficult. So, for example, abortion or, let's say, gay marriage, that's something I talk a little bit more about. So I clearly, the position of the person I'm talking to is rooted in religion. But if I don't want to be the one that tries to de-evangelize that person. That's not. I wouldn't appreciate if someone tried to evangelize me. So I'm not going to do the contrary. I don't care what you believe, as long as it doesn't affect negatively other people. So the first thing to do, I think it would be to find a way to talk about that without trying to avoid an attack, and the direct attack on their beliefs.
Yeah. And
I don't really know how to.
Well, so Ricardo, I'm glad you asked this. This is a very, I'm sure you've seen this show before, but this is a very common question, which I could summarize as, how do I talk to people about these things, about these beliefs that people have? The first question I always ask, and I would be interested in knowing your answer on this, Ricardo, but for rhetorical purposes, I'll just repeat here, is why do you want to do this? Why do you feel the need to talk to them? I think that's important to figure out. Seriously, it's important to figure out. Jason's laughing, but it's true. Yeah. Because sometimes we
you're absolutely right.
We have to make sure that we're doing this for the right reasons, right? I can't go out to a church camp and say, sorry, guys, God's not real. Go home. Get the fuck out of here. No way. It's just not going to happen. So you got to figure out, okay, what's important here? So like for this current conversation that we're talking about with the Supreme Court decision, we're talking about abortion issues. When people are going to make religious arguments, I don't have to necessarily go a deep dive and figure out, do we have to believe this because you believe that it's God? We just have to figure out people's individual reasons. You'll find that everybody believes for different reasons, and that everybody has sometimes not great reasons to believe, but sometimes people have beliefs and they don't even know why they have them because nobody's bothered to have a conversation with them to examine those beliefs. So, I would point you, Ricardo, to stuff that we've talked about a lot on this show, which is a method of street epistemology, which is talking to people. It is an organized, semi-organized methodology on how to talk to people, and I don't have time to explain it to you here. I'm sorry. I wish I could, but the short of it is asking 3 different types of questions. First is those what questions, figuring out what that belief is, defining it, then asking about those why questions, why people believe in these beliefs. And if you get to the root of it, then you start asking some of those how questions, which is how could we test if this belief is true? How can we figure out if this belief accurately describes reality, or if that person is even interested in having beliefs that accurately describe reality? Because some people aren't. Some people just want to believe stuff because they like it for whatever reason. And you will find that you will have some success with talking to people if you follow this method. It's what I use. I don't use it for every single call on here, obviously, But I do use it, and I think it is an effective way to talk to people without putting in your personal biases into these conversations, right? Without alienating people with thinking, oh, you just want to talk to me because you're an atheist and you want to try to convince me that quote unquote atheism is true or whatever, you know? So yeah, that's a lot of words there from me. Jason, any thoughts?
No, I mean, that's absolutely great. And I personally do like straight epistemology. I've practiced it to some extent. However, I'm no expert in it by any stretch of the imagination. My wife and I, before the pandemic, I practiced on a couple, I think they were Jehovah's Witnesses. But as far as, we can't really give like, explicit advice because, that's not the scope of the show and all that. But I would say that, what's worked for me in conversations with my dad, because my dad is a theist, who actually helped me get out of theism by some of the nerdy stuff that he introduced me to. I would say that, setting boundaries with him really, really helped. It's like, okay, look, we can talk about this. We can talk about politics. We can talk, but we cannot go into the religious aspect. The last time that he ever talked to me about religion was several years ago. And it was basically him saying that he believed that the book of Revelations is true and that somehow it'll get there. And I told him, it's like, look, I appreciate your beliefs. I do. They are not my beliefs. And I don't see you convincing me of them because I don't see the evidence that I should believe any of that stuff. And he understood, he was receptive to that. And we have not talked about religion. Now, we talk about controversial issues all the time. And he has actually become more liberal as he's aged, which is surprising. But we're still able to have those conversations because we do have this one boundary.
Yeah. I think that's important. I think that's super, super important to figure out those boundaries and what you want to talk about and how you want to organize those conversations. Ricardo, I really want to talk to you more about this, but we actually have a lot of people who are waiting on the line right now and who really want to talk to us. And I already said that I want to try to take everybody tonight. So I think I do want to end the conversation at least right here. But if you have further questions about how to talk to people and how to do those conversations, I have a YouTube video of me talking about street epistemology on my personal channel that you can look at. It's like 45 minutes where I kind of explain that and go over some examples and things. And I would suggest that you check out the chat for people who probably have some examples and some other resources for you as well, if you're able to watch this live. I'm really sorry I can't talk to you anymore, Ricardo, but we've got so many callers. I need to move on and pick up the pace of it. But thank you so much. I feel really bad because he called from Italy. Also, he was waiting a long time. And I want to say more.
He was.
This is a call that we get pretty frequently, right? It's like, I want to be able to, give advice when I can, but there's other clips. There's other times of me talking about it. I'd say go look those up. I'm sorry I wasn't able to tell you in person, but if you look up how to talk to people, I'm pretty sure there's like a playlist on our channel right now where you can do that. So thank you again, Ricardo, for calling in.